Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DOROT's annual benefit, coming to you virtually for the first time ever. And now, tonight's host, MSNBC anchor and chief legal correspondent, Ari Melber.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I am honored to be here with you hosting DOROT's annual benefit. We wish we could all be together in person, but we think tonight is going to be a very special evening, and we're here to celebrate DOROT's remarkable 45-year history and to recognize the incredible work that's been accomplished, especially over these past 15 months. DOROT has this mission to alleviate social isolation and loneliness among older adults, and that's really never been more timely than what we've been going through this past year. Tonight, we'll hear from people who care deeply about DOROT, including those who've been impacted by the organization's work, by its compassion, by its service, and we'll be saluting those who made this past year innovative and transformative, the DOROT staff. Now, you could say I'm a little bit new to this community, but I've already really appreciated what I've been able to learn about this work just in preparing for tonight. Now, if you've ever seen my show, you know that we try to deal in facts as well as with compassion. And so we're going to bring that spirit, I hope, to tonight. And it should be even more fun than the news, or at least the way the news has been lately. So the next hour, we aim to have something that is inspirational, but also true and informative, and at times even entertaining. So I hope that you are comfortable, settle into your favorite chair, pull up your favorite drink, and enjoy. And here to get us going, please welcome our benefit co-chairs, Marion Fatel and Pat Fingeroth.
I'm Pat Fingeroth. Thank you, Ari, for being here with us for this wonderful evening. Tonight marks my 4th year serving as chair of this annual benefit. This event always holds a special place in my heart, and this year even more so, as we've overcome so much together. It's been a special joy to see the extraordinary dedication, hard work, and creativity of DOROT's outstanding staff and volunteers over the past unprecedented year. They've gone above and beyond and have made a difference in the lives of our seniors when they needed it most. And I'm thrilled to have you, Marion, as my co-chair for this unique virtual occasion.
Thank you, Pat. And welcome, everyone. I'm honored to be a board member of DOROT and to be co-chairing this event with Pat. Like Pat, I too have been so inspired by the incredible work of the DOROT staff and volunteers and how they responded to the challenges of the last year. You will hear more about this tonight firsthand from our speakers. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Benefit Committee for all the work you have done. We could not have made tonight happen without your ideas and support.
DOROT's success is built on its core belief of generations helping generations. With over 6,000 volunteers representing all ages from 9 to 99 and older, our services and programs are stronger and more diverse than ever, despite the challenges we faced. We are so proud to be part of an organization that comes together and shines even brighter in times of crisis.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce DOROT's Executive Director, Mark Merity, who led DOROT through a tremendous transformation this year with one single objective: to keep older adults in the DOROT community connected despite being physically isolated during the pandemic.
Thank you, Pat and Marion, and thank you for everything you have both done to help make tonight a great success. It has been a long year for everyone, particularly older adults who have been most at risk. We're all now breathing a collective sigh of relief as more and more people are being vaccinated and our city and country are quickly opening up. One thing is for certain: the issue of social isolation and loneliness has moved to center stage. Together, they are a growing public health crisis affecting older adults and younger people as well. As we move beyond the pandemic, we will continue to share our intergenerational model for social connection. We know it works, and we are excited to give you a firsthand look this evening. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to everyone watching tonight, and especially those who have made a financial contribution to the benefit. I am grateful to lead an organization with such a committed board of directors. I would like to thank all of you for your leadership and generosity that enables us to fulfill our mission every day. I would like to especially thank our board president, Ellen Merrim, who has been a fabulous mentor and partner. And as a news junkie and a huge Ari Milber fan, I couldn't be more excited to have you host this evening. When the pandemic struck last year, DOROT was uniquely positioned to respond and take decisive action. Our amazing staff and our 45-year history taught us how. The incredible team at DOROT was inspired to reimagine our program and delivery models, all while staying focused on our mission of addressing social isolation and loneliness and bringing the generations together. And I will tell you, from when the challenge was presented, the DOROT community of donors, staff, volunteers of all ages, lay leaders, and older adults came together. Over the past 15 months, we have exceeded our own expectations. In total, our work impacted more than 5,500 older adults, whose average age is 82, 64% of whom live alone. They participated in over 84,000 programs, activities, services, and other connections to keep them engaged during the pandemic. Because of the virtual nature of our work this past year, our community grew beyond New York City and Westchester. We now have volunteers from 44 states and the District of Columbia, and older adults from 30 states. As we celebrate our 45-year history tonight, it is not lost on me that this pandemic has revealed how much work is still left to be done. Seniors were disproportionately affected. Even now, while many of us are beginning to resume social interaction, many older adults are reticent or unable to do so. Which is why I am asking you to show your support tonight by making a donation to DOROT. Even if you've already contributed, please consider giving again, because every dollar counts. And stay with us tonight, because you will learn more about how your support is making an even bigger impact. Let's now hear firsthand about how our work impacts older adults. I'm excited for you to meet Leah, an active member in our on-site programming before the pandemic. And this past year, she has taken full advantage of our virtual programming and has now participated in close to 400 on-site at-home programs. Every day, you will find Leah near her computer enjoying wellness and movement programs, lectures on culture and history, programs on Jewish themes, movies and art, and so much more.
When I get up and I look in the mirror and I talk to myself, another day, another blessing. It was very, very scary because we really didn't know what was going on. This was like an invisible plague. If I didn't have DOROT during the COVID experience, my life would have been very, very empty, depressing. There was nothing. The first time I went on Zoom, wow, that was really an eye-opener.
Let's exit the museum and turn around, and then we'll see.
Without it, we would have all been in the dark. I eagerly look forward every week to see what's going on.
Thanks everybody for showing up and for bringing your beautiful stories.
I'm very grateful for every moment, and I'm particularly grateful for DOROT. It created something to look forward to every day while I was confined in the house.
So we're gonna warm up, we're gonna use our dumbbells. Lois has got her new dumbbells.
DOROT's programs have been like a ray of sunshine, a light at the end of the tunnel. I shall always be grateful for DOROT. It has lifted my spirits and given me an incentive to carry on.
Our thanks to Leah for sharing that. I think it's a sentiment we can really all relate to right now. Now, our next guest is an individual who's taken the DOROT mission to heart, literally. His leadership is felt in every corner of this organization: programming, volunteer services, fundraising, and his advocacy for DOROT and the seniors that are served here is profound. He's a dedicated board member since 2016, a vice president since 2019, a major donor, a volunteer, one of the founders of DOROT's popular intergenerational chess program. To Josh Targoff, DOROT is family. For many years, he and his wife, Kim, also an honorary board member, and their children have been making visits to homebound seniors on the Upper West Side, spending time connecting with them, sharing stories and experiences. His kids have grown up understanding the power of these connections, what we learn across generations, and they've been supporting DOROT in their own ways. The Targoff family is a great example of generations helping generations. So, as we turn to Josh, we are grateful to have him with us tonight to share a little more so we can learn about his story and why DOROT is such a priority for the whole family. Josh?
Thank you, Ari, for that gracious introduction. And as you mentioned, my commitment to DOROT would not be complete without acknowledging my entire family. We are all in this together, my wife Kim and our 4 kids, Zach, Zoe, Stella, and Eleanor, who have all played instrumental roles in our work with DOROT. As you have heard, DOROT's intergenerational focus is part of the special sauce that makes it unique. And I have to say that my children have inspired me to continually do more. My experience with DOROT really started in 2012 when Zach, our oldest, he's now 20, needed to find a bar mitzvah project. We had been to various DOROT functions and participated in programs, and Zach came up with the idea of playing chess with a senior. In testament to DOROT's institutional flexibility, they quickly found a match for Zach, a wonderful man, a Holocaust survivor named Herman Bomsey. We never could have imagined how successful the relationship would become. Zach and Herman played chess every week for over a year in Herman's apartment, and they quickly became friends. We saw the benefits that the friendship had for both of them. In fact, their bond became so strong that at Zach's bar mitzvah, Herman and his daughter presented Zachary with a gift, the wooden chess set that Herman's father gave him as he sent his family to the U.S. from Austria, while he stayed behind and ultimately perished in a concentration camp. Herman wanted to ensure that the chess set would live on past him, and he trusted that Zach would cherish it forever. It was after this magical moment that Kim and I went to DOROT to see if we could find a way to replicate this special dynamic. And thus, the Intergenerational Chess Program was created. We're incredibly proud of the program, and it has been wonderful to see how it's grown and flourished at DOROT, first expanding into Westchester in a very meaningful way, and more recently being expanded to virtual play during the pandemic. My daughters have also participated. My eldest daughter, Zoe, worked with the DOROT staff to create a program where she and a friend would bake birthday cakes and deliver them to homebound seniors. And Stella continues to work on a Visiting with Pets program, both of which have been somewhat thwarted by the pandemic, but we have hopes of bringing them both back. Kim and I believe these experiences were so important to our children, as they have learned the value of giving is not just to the receiver, but also to the giver. Our little one, Eleanor, she's only 8, is just starting. She passes out roles at the Thanksgiving banquet, but we expect great things from her in the future with DOROT. DOROT has helped us teach that lesson to our children, and for that, we are all very grateful. I've been approached by so many people over the years telling me how much their children have enjoyed the Intergenerational Chess Program and thanking DOROT for creating an easy entree into the world of service for their kids. In effect, we're helping to create a new generation of givers. What a blessing that is, and how special DOROT is for making it happen. For all these reasons and so many more, we keep choosing to support DOROT. And speaking for those of us that have been inspired by DOROT over the years, we feel strongly about continuing our investment in the incredible work they do. I'm excited to announce that a group of board members and I have come together to set up a matching gift that we're kicking off tonight. For every dollar raised, we are matching it dollar for dollar up to $50,000 to show our commitment to the incredible staff and volunteers that keep DOROT going. I hope that my family's commitment to DOROT, as well as what you've learned tonight, will inspire you to do the same. Please join us by texting a gift tonight to the number on your screen. Thank you.
Josh, thank you, and thank you for that. What generosity from you and the board. It's clear that Generations Helping Generations is at the heart of what DOROT does, and it's been incredible to see the impact here, not only on older adults, but also on many volunteers themselves. Jerry Haddam has been volunteering with DOROT for more than 25 years. It's hard to find a more dedicated volunteer. His son Jack has seen how important DOROT's work was to his father, and he was also inspired to volunteer. Now, together, the family regularly delivers packages to seniors. Before the pandemic, Jack and his wife enjoyed wrapping books during the holiday gift wrapping sessions. Jack's now a member of DOROT's investment committee, and Thanksgiving 2019 brought 3 generations of Haddams together to volunteer, including their daughter, Ellie. Volunteering at DOROT is in their genes, so let's turn and hear from Jerry and Jack now.
My grandmother used to say, nobody should be alone because the 4 walls don't talk to you. These seniors who I've met through the years have become an extended part of the family. Package delivery was the beginning of teaching children to give back. Now you've got this younger generation involved in the package delivery. And of course, DOROT always encouraged families to go visit. Children could only learn what their parents teach them.
DOROT's been a part of my dad's life for so long, it's just part of our family's life. My dad would conduct like a Rosh Hashanah service over the phone.
Oh, yeah. It was really quite rewarding when you hear people on the other end who could not attend services, either were homebound or they couldn't get out for whatever reason, able to participate in a service which they remembered growing up.
My wife and I used to, volunteer at the package deliveries or the gift wrapping. My wife Alyssa and I, we used to go to Barnes & Noble. I'm not really good at wrapping books, but it definitely gave us an opportunity to speak to a lot of people about DOROT. Quite often the books I'd wrap were covered with multiple DOROT stickers to cover up the holes. A place like DOROT, people can help in many different ways. Being able to connect in a capacity like the investment committee where I felt I had something to offer but could also really help the organization was a great connection for me. It was a really good starting point for me. I'm happy I did it.
I'm happy I asked.
DOROT serves a really unique role. I don't think enough people understand the impact of what DOROT does.
You get to see these adults who have loads of experience, life experience. It's an interchange between you and them. It makes them feel that they're still important.
My dad's experience with DOROT confirms everything I know about my dad. My dad loves to help people. This is just like part of my dad's nature. So how great for him to find a place where he really can give back. And frankly, how lucky for DOROT and DOROT's seniors to have someone like my dad.
Amen to that, and our thanks to Jerry and Jack, a real inspiration. Volunteers are the lifeblood of DOROT. They stepped up and managed to be present and involved in so many ways, even during this tough pandemic that we all lived through. Assisting older adults with grocery shopping online, arranging food deliveries, teaching people how to use a smartphone or do something we've all had to figure out over this year, how to get the most out of Zoom. They made caring calls to check in and keep connections. Within weeks of launching the Caring Calls program early in the pandemic, DOROT had more than 1,000 volunteers making these special calls. Now, our next guest does not need an introduction. She is actually an icon. She's one of the few people whose popularity, like so many of the programs we've talked about, transcends across every age group. Now, she's about almost 93 years old, but remains very popular among young people. I can attest to that. And you may know her for her charm and her candor and her humor, or all the time she's been on television as a sex therapist. That is only part of it. I'm talking about Dr. Ruth, of course, the personification of resilience, a woman with a curious and independent mind. She is a force of nature. She knows a lot about social isolation and loneliness, personally and professionally. And that stems all the way back with her work with older adults and Holocaust survivors. Now, we checked, she's written, get this, 44 books. She's executive produced 5 documentaries. She's also an expert on Alzheimer's caregiving, a behavioral therapist. She can offer a lot of insight into the mind and lives of older adults, as we've been discussing, as well as everything we all need to keep in mind at this pivotal point as we go from pandemic to renewal. There's a new film about her life that premiered at Sundance earlier this year. It's streaming on Hulu. And she also still maintains a really active audience online, engaging with people on Twitter. She has over 100,000 followers. She may be the only 90-something YouTuber with her special kind of following. Now, I'm telling you all this because this is one thing that we're really excited about tonight. I had the opportunity to sit down with Dr. Ruth. Now, we taped this not for the news, but exclusively and airing for the first time for everyone here with us tonight. This is a DOROT production. And we're going to play for you some of the highlights as we discussed her stories of resilience, of what we can all learn from lockdown, and what the hope is for the next generation. Let's take a look. Thanks for having me in your home.
I first checked out how tall you are.
Okay.
Stand up for a moment. Let them see you. Now sit down.
Okay.
When I saw how tall you are, I said, okay, I'll talk to that guy. That's not the reason. I watched you on television, and you are very good, so I will talk to you.
We're here with you because of your work and your expertise, and you've also always been someone who helps people deal with difficult things. We've had a difficult time, especially when you look at the work of this organization, with loneliness and separation in this past year. So what's on your mind as we come out of this?
Okay. First of all, I love that you said as we come out of it. It's true that we have had a difficult year. It is true that we have a lot of lonely people. I know a lot about that because I have now been a widow for many years. And this particular year was very difficult for everybody. Younger people, older people, couples that suddenly were together 24 hours a day. But my function in life, even now, at the age of almost 93, is to tell people, yes, very difficult. Loneliness is difficult, it hurts, but let's not dwell on it. I'm the right person to say, let's be positive. Because I'm saying, after my background, which people know, which you know, after my background, I'm a perfect example of terrible things having happened. Being an orphan at the age of 10 and a half, being badly wounded in the Haganah in Israel on both legs. Look how positive I am, because I can see the good things in life.
We have a lot of people who can better understand a physical challenge than this kind, whatever you call it, social, personal, emotional. You say, oh, your legs are hurt, they get healed, we move on.
Right.
How do we heal and find the positive from the unseen isolation and loneliness, which has health and other consequences, in which many people, older people especially, feel that can be one of the harder parts of their life, worse than some physical challenges?
Very good question. Here is my advice. When you talk to people, think before you take the phone and find something positive. Don't negate that we all had a difficult time. That loneliness actually physically hurts. And now let's think, what could you do? Pick up the phone, call somebody that you have not talked to, and find something positive. It doesn't matter what. Find something positive that you can talk about. Everybody who is now vaccinated, I'm vaccinated. Are you vaccinated?
I am.
All right.
There we go.
We actually can kiss.
We could kiss.
Maybe at the end of the of the interview. Because if I talk to somebody and they only tell me about the misery, that they couldn't go out, they couldn't see the grandchildren, big misery, I will listen, and then I'm going to say, and now where do we go from here? Dr. Ruth's expertise is the positive. If you want to complain, I give you 3 names of psychiatrists. Go to them.
What's the best way for people to rekindle friendships or contact with people they've fallen out of touch with, or find new friends and social connections? Because that's also part of this work. We have isolation to begin with, plus what we are coming out of.
So the first thing, take a deep breath. Promise Dr. Ruth and Ari that you're not going to complain. You're going to say one sentence, how horrible this year was, and you go on from there. And you find something positive. You have to find kind of a hook that is positive. Now, if a DOROT person calls you, make sure you say, thank you for calling me. When can you call me again? That shows that I'm interested in you. That shows I want you, DOROT, to call me again. And then make sure you prepare something. As if you prepare a cup of tea or coffee, you prepare something of interest to that other person.
I like that. Well, I like also the way you put it, because we think about etiquette like it's good to be hospitable. So if you have someone over, you think about putting out tea or coffee or cookies. What you're talking about is a more important social etiquette of keeping in mind how do you offer them something that gives them something to engage on.
Right.
And how do you look forward to the next time to show your interest, which comes very naturally to some people. You're a firecracker. But
and not so natural to
others. And not so natural to others.
But you can practice that.
Yeah.
In front of a mirror. Ari, stand with all your, how tall are you? 6 feet?
6.
Oh my gosh, you're tall. I'm 4'7". I lost half an inch. Ari, you are 6 feet tall. Stand in front of a mirror and practice something positive. But do accept in your mind that other people might have more serious problems. For example, health problems. What is it that you can do for that person by visiting on the phone? By visiting Zoom is a brilliant measure. This Zoom should be blessed. We should say a bracha. A bracha means a blessing over Zoom. And you know what I believe? Zoom is here to stay. I believe that, especially for people who are home, who are lonely. Make sure you learn how to use it, or that you get somebody to use it for you.
I have a question about your independent mind and sex. It would seem that the world broadly has moved more towards your approach, that you were ahead of the curve. Is that fair to say?
Yes, say it again.
You were right.
I said, not only that, I said the importance of good sexual functioning in all of my books, and the importance of relationships.
So my question to you is, if we want to learn from this big picture, what were your habits of mind or independence that allowed you to transcend or not be held down by the way other people in the field or in the culture in general talked about these things, by stigma, embarrassment? And now we have a world that looks, in some ways, closer to a Dr. Ruth approach, but it wasn't always that way. What were your habits of mind or your way that you could be so independent?
Because, Ari, for Jews, sex was never a sin. It was always something to be engaged in by a husband and a wife. I make it a little broader, a husband, a man and a woman, or 2 men, or 2 women. All of those new variations included. That I became like Dr. Ruth, it has to do with chutzpah. Chutzpah means nerve. I was in the building where you work, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, 10 years, every Sunday night, on nationwide radio, that then became international, talking about these things. And I was never embarrassed to talk about it. When somebody said, shouldn't talk about that, I said, turn your dial, go to another station. Don't listen to me. That worked very well. They all listened to me. DOROT, whoever is going to give some money for this gala, I promise you good sex for the rest of your life.
You know, sometimes at these dinners, people stop listening a little bit. I think everyone's listening again now.
With me, they don't stop listening. Maybe with you, not with me.
Well, definitely with me. They go to commercials, they flip around. Before we end, I propose we do a lightning round. So I give you a question or a word, and you answer in a word or a sentence. So we
That
go.
will never work with me.
It
but
doesn't
we'll
work
try.
with you, but we try.
Because I always will answer in paragraphs.
Well, and that's people are consuming them in a word or a sentence. 2020 was
2020?
the year.
The year 20.
The year
You have to
2020.
say the year.
You're right.
Otherwise, I'm thinking of a television program.
The year, this past year, 2020 was
Horrible.
2021 will be
Fantastic. First of all, you and I, you have to promise on television right now, you and I are going to be friends. This is not an encounter of once DOROT, give money, and then you will have good sex. That's one thing. They
that's
know
one
that.
thing, yeah.
But this is a friendship from now on.
Okay.
Done.
Also, well, wait,
Like
we'll
this?
do one,
Okay,
and then
one.
and then I'll shake your
And
hand.
then
We'll do both.
okay.
Continue. You were saying.
Okay, so very important to say, not to negate the terrible thing, because everybody had people who died.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to acknowledge that. Look, I know that very well. I was an orphan at the age of 10 and a half when I was sent to Switzerland. Otherwise, I wouldn't be alive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful. So the one thing is to be grateful to be alive. If you are religious, be grateful and pray. If you are not religious, be grateful anyhow. Give it respect and move on.
Move forward.
Move on.
You have children books now.
Yes, this is for older children. I talk about taking 2 of my 4 grandchildren to an amusement park. They can go on the ride and I'm too short. So I'm using humor, the idea which is important for DOROT. Everybody has worth. Now I have to show you one more children's book. Leopold. I believe in the image of the turtle. I have a lot of turtles here.
I noticed that. I saw,
that.
and there's a turtle
There's a
footstool.
a giant.
Yeah.
A turtle, if it sticks its neck out, it can move. If it stays in one place, it doesn't move.
You like the turtle as an allegory.
Yes.
For our
Now,
emotional baseline.
Careful. During the time of the virus, I did not talk about this book because I don't want people to take risks.
Right.
Today, you are vaccinated, I'm vaccinated. Stick your neck out to take a risk, because this way you move forward.
I love that. In that spirit, Dr. Ruth, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of
right.
you.
Wonderful.
DOROT, give money because the organization needs you. Shalom.
Shalom.
That's a wrap.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Ruth and Ari, for that inspiring insight and for sharing your time, talent, wisdom, and optimism with all of us. So far tonight, you've heard from many individuals who are representatives of our wonderful community. But one of the critical elements that makes DOROT so successful is our staff. They are some of the most compassionate, dedicated, caring individuals I have ever had the pleasure to work with. This past year required everyone to give it their all, and they did. The innovation and creativity and, quite frankly, guts resulted in unprecedented success for the organization. They created new programs to meet pressing needs. They reformulated existing programs to maximize participation. And they raised the funds necessary to enable the organization to redeploy staff without having to incur any layoffs. Members of the DOROT staff have been with us for 1 month to more than 35 years, and they have more passion and drive than I could have ever hoped for when I joined the organization 12 years ago. Over the past 15 months, we have grown together and changed in ways I never imagined. I continue to be energized and inspired to lead this organization every day because I know that the work we are doing together is truly making a difference in so many lives. So tonight, I want to recognize the DOROT staff and say thank you. Thank you for your commitment to our mission and your compassion. Thank you for your perseverance and for being a light even when the days were really dark. Thank you for lifting each other up and supporting one another as we navigated this uncharted territory. Thank you for your kindness, personal support, and partnership. And thank you for inspiring the DOROT community we serve to hold on, stay positive, push through, and know that they are not alone. Thank you to everyone who has already texted a gift. If you haven't yet, there's still time to celebrate our dedicated staff by texting a gift in their honor. Every dollar helps us to continue to provide meaningful connections for older adults in need. Please join me in raising a glass and saluting the work of the incredible staff at DOROT. Cheers and thank you.
Hi, Quinn.
Hi, Tara.
Marsha, your hair is fabulous.
Thank you. I had it.
Wow, nice. Emma from Brooklyn.
Honestly, I'm feeling a little emotional seeing you because I really do feel a special connection to you. I always look forward to talking to you.
I always look forward to the 929 area code.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi.
Charlie is wonderful. He is so kind. He is so bright.
Something that's really nice with Shannon, if you have a suggestion, I can say, Shannon, you know, maybe this would be a better way to do it. And
she knows she can come to me, and she knows that I'll bring it back to the team.
It makes one feel like they matter, and that's how she makes you feel.
A good thing about Quinn, she makes you feel comfortable. She makes you feel valued.
It is making me blush.
Our conversations are always very open and honest.
You know, you mentioned me being a good listener, but I would say you are very easy to talk to.
I feel so connected to Marlene, even though we've only talked over the phone.
It was a connection. It was like, gee whiz, look who's calling. It's a special calling in a way to be able to connect to people and make the other person who doesn't see you feel good on the phone.
This past year was so important. It was contact with the world. It's amazing how many different projects they have, and I don't know how she does it. Every detail, every question answered immediately.
It's been amazing. First of all, how quickly you guys got it together.
This was a big deal. I mean, Zoom, I never had a camera. People don't know how to do it. So they really have helped everyone and been very supportive of this past year.
I love the fact that the people are so enthusiastic about what they do. I mean, nobody phones it in. I've worked in a lot of places, you know, I know the difference.
It was pretty immediate that we were like, we got to get online. So many people have technology, like we need to dive into this space.
What sets us apart and maybe sets our people apart and our staff apart from other places where it was, you know, should we or shouldn't we or can we or can't we? But the question at DOROT was more like, okay, how are we going to? It's not an option.
DOROT has kept me sane. I think Charlie is grace personified. He has just been so gracious in helping people get on Zoom. It has just been a lifesaver.
Well, thank you so much, Marsha. That means the world coming from you, honestly. I mean, I think it's been such a trying year for all of us. And as much as our participants say that, you know, our programs have saved them, it's really saved me and our team and kept us sane and kept us motivated.
Just hearing from our older adults and our volunteers about how much they appreciate our programs and our services and the difference that DOROT has made in their lives, that's really the heart of what DOROT is.
You know, I've never been like a big joiner. I was never in the brownies when I was a kid. I was not in every club. And yet when I got to DOROT, I feel so completely comfortable in that environment.
I couldn't do the work that I do without people like Marsha, who are dedicated, who are willing to give back.
When I'm thinking about, you know, my role as a social worker, I mean, something that I feel so lucky to get to do, and I guess DOROT really brings this out, is really the chance to make connections with people.
I feel that everything that I have
live through this difficult time. We have to be grateful for everybody that provides love and caring and education.
It's just been a glorious time at a time that hasn't been so glorious. I just can't say enough about DOROT and Charlie.
Good evening. I'm Ellen Marum, and I have the privilege of serving as the president of the wonderful, dedicated DOROT Board of Directors. In this very challenging year, I want to first recognize the outstanding leadership of Mark Merity, DOROT's executive director. No board president anywhere could have a better partner. When I first became involved with DOROT many years ago, it quickly became clear to me that the organization's success and impact was due to the extraordinary passion, commitment, and skills of the DOROT staff. As you can imagine, this year tested our staff as never before. Success required major change, adaptability, and new learning. In a time when DOROT could have stayed in place or even pulled back, the staff grew the organization, building new connections and deepening engagement. So I am truly honored, on behalf of the board, to salute this year's honorees, the DOROT staff, and to express our deepest admiration and appreciation to each and every one of you and celebrate all that you have accomplished. Literally thousands of older adults have led better, richer, and healthier lives this year because of your individual and collective efforts. You are our first-line heroes. I also want to thank our benefit attendees who, through your donations at this gala and throughout the year, make DOROT's important work possible. 97% of our funding comes from private sources. We're enormously grateful for the support you have given us before this evening, and also want to encourage you to make additional or new donations while the evening continues, especially since your donations will be matched up to $50,000. Please consider a gift to DOROT right now. The best part of supporting DOROT is knowing the difference it makes for the people we serve. No one can speak to that more eloquently than those whose lives we impact every day. So it's my pleasure to introduce Robert Berger. At 82, he participates in friendly visiting and caring calls. Robert gained national celebrity this year when CNN covered his intergenerational friendly visiting match with record producer Ben Goldstein. It was a story on how DOROT helped older adults use technology to make social connections during the pandemic. Robert is active in the DOROT College Internship Program and really loves DOROT's music programs and concerts. Here he is to tell you a bit more.
4 years ago, unfortunately, my lifelong partner passed away. We've been together for 56 years. The sad part of it is to be alone after being together so many years. You know, at my age, obviously, can't expect young friends. Through DOROT, I don't know how else to say it, but that's why I'm still going. When the pandemic started, I worried very much. I also knew that I couldn't be able to get in-person visits. Those kids, they used to come around. We used to have coffee or cake or something, and we just talk about life, but at least I didn't feel alone.
Well, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute.
You still look like you haven't had enough sleep.
Throw bags under my eyes.
With the Zoom programs that they put together, I feel like that I have 50, 60, 100 people sometimes on a program. It's virtually, I hug everybody. When I get up in the morning, I just looking at the programs. What can I see today? What kind of art show or concert? And it's wonderful.
You get an idea of the sophistication of Jackie Kennedy's taste. She really understood what she was looking at.
I don't feel like just sitting in a chair. It's like a family. I don't know how else to explain it. It wakes me up. It makes me feel not being alone anymore.
Our thanks to Robert there. Really interesting to hear how he's benefiting from this and sharing with us really the value of these programs, especially at this time. What I want to do right now is congratulate everyone at DOROT on your accomplishments this year and across this 45-year history. We know what these trying times have been like. We know why it matters to have people who are already prepared and committed to dealing with not only the ongoing challenges we've discussed tonight, but the new ways that isolation and other issues can crop up, whether it's from a pandemic or other developments. I want to thank everyone who participated. A special thanks to Dr. Ruth. And I want to thank all of you for sharing your own stories and inspiring us to continue this work. We also want to give a shout out to the DOROT staff for all that you do to enrich the lives of older adults and make sure we're connecting with each other. On a personal note, I want to thank everyone for listening to me this whole night, and I want to thank DOROT for having me get involved in the community. I hope to keep in touch or do more fun interviews and learn a lot more about the great work that you all are doing. If those of you have stayed in the room here with me this long, some of you may know we often turn to music and lyrics for some inspiration. And as a Brooklyn guy, I will say, let's close with a thought from the notorious B.I.G., who said, "You could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that." On behalf of DOROT, we do appreciate that. So thank you to everyone for what you're doing. Keep it up. Stay safe. We'll try to do this again in other ways and in person down the road. And for those of you who want to know what else can be done to get involved, or if you're learning more about this, we'll put some of those ideas up on the screen about how you can help. Thank you, everyone, and good night.